Hello, everyone. In this episode of Aswatona podcast, you will get to meet Esraa Saleh, a podcaster from Egypt who shows us how she raises awareness about women's rights through podcasting. Let's hear it together.
My name is Esra Saleh and I'm from Egypt. And I'm a feminist journalist, researcher, and a podcaster. Currently, I'm in Brighton in the UK studying gender and media masters at the University of Sussex. But yeah, I was raised in Egypt, maybe in a very conservative context, and it was so hard to get out of this. I studied pharmacy, my first academic background, and after the revolution, I wanted to change my career and be more engaged with the civil society and the public sphere. I chose journalism, and that was it. I started my career in the journalism and human rights field, and I traveled first time to Jordan, get my first master's in journalism, and here I am in Brighton, getting my second master's. I wouldn't say that it was easy to change from pharmacy, which is like more socially acceptable and valued, to journalism. For my family, it wasn't very easy. It took like a while. Took years to be able to fully focus on journalism and leave the pharmacy behind. All the battles I've fought to do this, to live my own life, to have my own decisions and my own choices. Of course, it influenced my content production. I have a podcast called Salmon Podcast, where I discuss the issues of women who are not conforming with the social mainstream or simply swimming against the mainstream, like the salmon fish. Because I come from an extremely patriarchal context where women are oppressed and prohibited from practicing their basic rights, I'm one of them myself. When I first thought about the idea of the podcast, it was basically from my personal experience. Because for my society, I am different. I do not follow the norms, and thus my choices are not widely accepted within the society. On the contrary, I am always challenged, always maybe stigmatized or rejected. So practicing my very basic rights so hard, and I have to pay a price for it. Although it's my right, but I have to pay for it. I can pay from my body integrity, my age, years spent in fighting, from my psychological health, even from people, from friends and relatives. All these prices I had to pay to practice my very basic rights or personal choices. And all these experiences combined prompted me to produce Salmon Podcast. Not just to tell my own story, but also to tell the stories of the other women who are subjected to similar experiences on daily basis, or women who are struggling every day to just practice their rights or make their own decisions and do what they want, not what the society wants from them. For me, I think the podcast is double-edged sword. It's kind of opportunity and challenge at the same time. As I mentioned, I'm mainly working on feminist issues and supporting women who are not resembling the mainstream or following the gender norms. And those women, and myself included, are maybe outcast in our society. Our choices are not accepted, our behavior is not widely welcomed, and sometimes some of us may be experiencing violence. Therefore, the main challenge may be like social challenge that we face, because we women are not allowed even to speak about our experiences. We're prohibited to talk about our pains or what we face on a daily basis from the society because we are just different. So it's a very delicate matter, and it could be dangerous sometimes for some women to share their own stories or open up about taboos or sensitive issues. That's why sometimes in the podcast we resort to changing names or voices in order to protect these women from the backlashes. At the same time, the anonymity provided by the podcast medium may be an opportunity as well, because it allows women to speak up about their own experiences without being visually known, maybe, or fully identified. So maybe they can speak without being targeted or stigmatized. I think the podcast provided like it's like alternative media where these women can make statements and provide their own narrative. In my opinion, the podcast really opened a vast space for feminist storytelling and feminist activism, maybe because of many factors like the easy access, the availability, and yeah, relative safety as well. I guess podcasts in the recent years have gained a lot of popularity in Egypt and in the region in general. And you can see like different social and political topics discussed through the podcasts. And maybe because this is my area of interest or what I'm focusing on, I tend to listen more to podcasts that tackle the gender issues and women issues. And we have a good number of them currently. And you can also find different formats like storytelling or solo podcasts or interviews. We have like different varieties of formats. But for me, I prefer to listen more to the storytelling based podcasts because I can listen to the stories of real human people, real lives, real experiences, and I feel connected to those. And I feel identified with those stories as well. One of my favorite podcasts is Jasadi and the Aib podcasts. I don't know, I feel just connected to those stories. But also sometimes I listen to other types of podcasts, like Masaha podcast, for example, from South. It's mainly based on interviews with feminist activists and political activists. So yeah, sometimes I also listen to this kind of format, but yeah, I mainly focus on the storytelling.